Hey guys, Handyman Steve here. I'm going to show you how I crack cards out of graded card cases. Wow, that's like some sort of that's a tongue twister. So we got some cards here. Now, number one reason why you'd ever want to crack a card out of a case is you want to increase the grade. You want to go from a 9 to a 10, an 8 to a 9, or you want to crack it out and put it in your binder. That's perfectly fine as well. But most people want to crack the cards, go from a 9 to a 10. Now, I got two 9s here. One, it's got some edge at the top, edge right there, edge all through the bottom. Not worth cracking, not worth touching. Just put it aside, sell it as a 9, or keep it in your collection as a 9. That's not going to cross. This 9 number here, it has one dot of edge wear. That's it. Through the whole card, I've already checked through all these. One dot. This one, definitely. Good centering, no damage on the front, nothing like that. So this kind of card, perfect to crack. We're not going to crack that one today because it's too expensive and I'm doing it on a video and I don't want to destroy it. This one is our sacrificial lamb for PSA, and these ones are my sacrificial lambs for CGC. Now, I know this one is going to cross to a 10. I've crossed many CGC cards to a PSA 10, probably like 80%, 85% rate. These subgrades are perfect, so if you find like an old label like this, subgrades like that, it'll definitely cross. But we'll try with this PSA case. Now, these CD Promo Charizards, they tend to have like a wavy kind of texture surface, and I feel like the grade is just for some reason they're just threatened by that. I guess they just think that's like the worst thing in the world. So I'm going to crack this. I'm going to show you my tools. We got the pliers. I like to get pliers that have this little bit of like a wire cutting thing in the middle there, so you can kind of just like chomp the corner off. Now, the way I do it isn't the best way. It's not perfect. It's not amazing. It's not anything. It's just my way. I got this butter knife, however you want to say it, wherever you're from. Oh, you can see me in the reflection. And usually I use some sort of like plastic bag or something, so when I'm cracking the card, I have the bag, I hold the card, and then I crack. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to do that here. Now, when I crack cards, I usually do a whole bunch at once, and I'm just trying to get through them. It's a pretty fast process, to be honest. You want to take your time if you're not really that used to it. But here's what I do. I just get to the corner of the card where the cutting part is, just press down. Easy. We just broke off the corner. Slide our knife underneath. And we just want to put pressure. Just pull it upwards. You can hear it pop. Just be careful. Just do it nice and slow. You know, there's no real rush to getting the cards out, because if you damage it, you can't undo it. What you really want to be careful of, there we go. And I pretty much just go to here. What you really want to be careful of is the PSA tabs inside catching onto the card and bringing it up with you. So you want to make sure when you're cracking the card, you don't have it, you have it pretty centered. Now I'm just putting force down on the card, one final crack. Some people do like to crack the card completely and pop the top off. I don't like to do that. I just like to kind of slide the card out. Now the card will rub against the plastic that's like here, but you just do it nice and soft. These cards go through so much worse pain. As you can see the back here, there's no marks. It's perfect. Put this to the side. I'll sleeve that later. So here we go. Case is pretty good. No issues. I just cracked the corner off. Comes out. It's still only like halfway cracked. It's not like crazy. Like some people, you can get the knife through. If I was cracking a card that was like a lot of money, I would get the knife through maybe, and I would do this. Some people like to go through and chomp every corner off. I don't think that's necessary for me. The card is not super duper expensive and it's not crazy. It's just a PSA 8 trade promo Charizard. You know, it's like $200. So I'm happy just to go a little bit faster just for the sake of getting things done. CGC is the same, but it is titanium steel, honestly. Cracking a CGC card takes, you have to be some sort of strongman. You have to be like a crazy psycho. This is going to go everywhere, so I'm just going to put this on top. Oh my god. Jesus. There we go. Plastic shattered into 1 million pieces. We get our knife. Some people use a screwdriver, you know. There's no real right or wrong tool. There's no amazing. You just want to do this nice and carefully, because you can see here, it started to crack along the surface. Now I don't want to keep pushing against that crack, because if the card does crack all the way down, it's just going to break the top off, and it's going to be impossible to get out. So this one's cracking nicely. We might even be able to just lift the whole thing up. We just got to make sure, obviously, as soon as you've lifted it up, you don't want the card to be shifting left or right, because if this closes back down, it will clamp on the card and it will destroy the card. So CGC is the same. Once you get it a little bit, you can kind of... Oh, that one's not coming out. All right, this one's just going to snap out. I think this card just like stuck. Yeah, it's just stuck on the case there. So not a big deal. Get a sleeve. See if we damage this card. It is kind of hard to crack these cards and show. Nah, it didn't damage the card. Card's perfect. Look at that, mate. Bloody beautiful. Bloody beautiful, mate. All right, that's just how I do it. A few things I will show you what I was talking about. For the sake of the video, we'll use the Solosis, or whatever you call this Pokemon. Very unfortunate to use this, but we'll get this thing out. Put this card in. Now we'll pretend that we are cracking this card out. Some people, they do like to like crack every corner just so you can break it out. But this is what I was talking about. If you're trying to crack it, never push with your knife or screwdriver. Don't push like crazy towards the card, because what can happen is it can slip and boom, we go directly onto the card. I've seen it happen so many times. I've done it personally so many times. I know many people who have also done it. Be very, very, very careful. Like, you can't take back the damage. I'm sure like the pain you get from damaging your car when you're cracking it, when you're just going too fast, is crazy. So never push crazy down. Always try to go in from this side and then just wedge it out. You just slowly wedge. Obviously I just went down, but like, you just slowly wedge at the top. You just keep the pressure going that way, and you just either move your hand this way or move your hand that way. It's nothing crazy, just be careful. And if the card's not coming out, make sure you always try to keep the clamshell, I guess, open, because the card can move, I guess. Let me show you an example. If the card moved out, because we moved it, and then we're like, oh, I don't want to do this crack anymore, and we closed it, obviously look at that. Now the thing's closed down. And you're like, no, my card! And then eventually you get the card out. That's from the knife there. Maybe eventually you get this card out and you just have a little bit of damage. And I've done that before as well. Cards are extremely resilient. You'll be very impressed. Like, you actually be insanely impressed with just how much damage can potentially happen to cards. You gotta remember, they get huge sheets, they're printed in factories, they're shoved into booster packs, they're moved all around the world. You get them from one collection to another, and they're still like pristine condition. Well, this one not anymore, unfortunately, but you know, that's just how it is. I hope you learned something. Obviously, wear glasses, do it underneath a piece of plastic so it doesn't shatter everywhere. Do your best. Please don't hurt yourself. I swear to God, if you hurt yourself because of me, I'm going to be so disappointed. And I hope you learned something. Thank you.